Hey, it's Alyssa Sequoia. Welcome to my podcast, Flow with Me. I'll be sharing thoughts, ideas, stories, my music, my comedy, and whatever flows through in the moment. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey, in this episode, I speak with Melissa Hoffman from Food and Water Watch. Melissa is a righteous woman. She's a badass. She's an activist with Food and Water Watch. She is out there fighting the good fight and winning. She's an educator and has joined me today to talk about data centers and nuclear power plants. So we get into it. It's I beg her to get into politics, which is kind of like a dirty word at this point, but we need people like her, people who are intelligent, who are innovative, who care about this planet, who care about the direction of this planet and healing it. And oh my God, to just know someone and speak with someone who's out there truly fighting for this and cares about this is such a gift and such a blessing. I got to tell you guys, I just want to wrap my arms around this earth and hug her and kiss her and heal her. So Melissa's on the same page, and hope you guys enjoy our talk.
Whatever happened to brotherhood of man? Looks like it's turned into a transaction. Lucid visions of psychic intuition. Organized religion be spiritually killing. Whose God is your God? Hi,
Melissa.
Hello.
I'm so happy you're joining me. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad I'm glad the timing was worked out.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I was like on you. Like I have been wanting to get to talk to you for a while, as you know, because there's so much going on. And I would love for you to introduce yourself and just tell me about you. Let people know who you are, what you do, and how you got started and involved with everything that you do with Food and Water Watch.
Sure. So my name's Melissa Hoffman. I am an organizer with Food and Water Watch. We're a national environmental organization fighting back against any threats to our, air, water, climate. And we do that by mobilizing people, bringing people together to build people power to hold our elected officials accountable. And so I am the organizer for like the Hudson Valley and Westchester region. I got involved in this work back in college. I led a Sunrise Movement chapter. For anyone that doesn't know, Sunrise is it's a climate organization more catered to younger people. I think back in 2019, Sunrise was pushing for the Green New Deal. So I was involved in that work. And then I found out about Food and Water Watch, because at the time in the Newburgh area, Food and Water Watch was fighting back against the Dan Scammer power plant. And so I got involved with that fight. And pretty much ever since, I've been involved with fighting back against fossil fuel infrastructure in the Hudson Valley, protecting our water, climate, and any other threats that we need to fight back against. And
Right.
I joined the team with Food and Water Watch last year, right after Trump got into office. So.
Okay. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know. Did your parents support you or get you into a program when you were younger? Or was that your own, like you were born with this kind of passion? And how did you get that awareness about what's going on in the world and like protecting the planet and all that? How did that come to be within you?
So, yeah, I think back in high school, I really started to look into or really understand like how important environmental issues and the climate was. I got into it by just learning about nutrition.
Oh, interesting.
I was dealing with some like health issues, and so I was learning about and like proper nutrition, and then I learned about like agriculture and how
Mhm.
um destructive our current industrial agricultural system is. And
Yes.
yeah, I learned about how we're actually choosing to destroy the environment when we
Right.
have actual solutions
Hmm.
that we can implement that
Yeah.
are not destructive to the environment.
Yes.
And it's a political choice
Yes.
that these
Yes.
politicians are making,
Mhm.
that corporations are pushing for to make as much profit as possible at the expense
Yes.
of our, health and
Yes.
well-being. And that got me really enraged because I felt, like we're being abandoned by our governments
Mm.
and politicians. And I've always been someone who's very interested, like I've always been very self-motivated to like research and like discover
Mhm.
answers to everything. So I just did a lot of like deep diving into that. And um, eventually it became pretty clear to me that I wanted to, dedicate my life and free time to fighting for climate justice because I realize how important it is for not just me, but
Yeah.
everyone in the world, and especially communities um, across the world that have been impacted most significantly by, corporate pollution and the destructive impacts of climate change.
It's amazing. You're really like a national treasure and you're a hero. There are people, many people like me, who are devastated, distraught, enraged about what's happening. But like, I don't have that emotional coolness and to be calculated and attack these issues without getting so emotional and upset. And it's like, I'm so grateful to you and to the organization, that you're people that can handle these issues, that you know how to handle these issues, that you know how to tackle them, that you know how to bring about awareness and change, and you're successful in doing that. Um, that's just incredible. I mean, Food and Water Watch is really powerful, and you give so many of us a cool, calculated voice and path forward to fight these things. And I just so appreciate that. Um, because I'm like, so I'm furious and I
Yeah.
can't, I would probably like go into a blackout if I was like in a rage, if I was put in like a place where I could like truly express myself and say, I mean, it's not something I'm proud of or happy about, because all I want is to be this super cool, calm person, but I'm not. Like I'm, and also, like what you were saying, the amount of things on your plate that you guys are doing, the amount of things that need attention and care and that are happening right now. So, I'll be honest with you, it was only recently that I learned about data centers and what they are and how close they are to home and how they're now happening all over the country and the world. It's only recently that I really learned about that. And I would love for you to talk about that, what they are, what they're doing, um, and what do we do? What can we do?
Yeah. So, as you mentioned how that Food and Water Watch we're effective at giving people like
Yeah,
solutions or action ways to get involved. And I think fighting the data center campaign has been a way for us to really combine a lot of the issues that we're focusing on.
yeah.
Like we're fighting to keep our drinking water clean from PFAS, microplastics.
Mhm.
Data centers have been found to have, PFAS in their water.
What is PFAS?
So PFAS is a it's a chemical that it's called a forever chemical.
Okay.
It's used in a lot of industrial manufacturing.
Mhm.
It ends up in so many products that we use and don't even know. And it causes a whole slew of health impacts. It's a endocrine disruptor. It can cause other, sometimes it could be related to cancer issues, other like severe health impacts
Mm.
because it builds up in the body.
Yeah.
So over time, we accumulate high levels of this toxic chemical, and it can do some damage. And we often don't know what levels of PFAS we're being exposed to. So that's what makes it really dangerous.
Okay. So that's what data centers are giving off.
So we can't say all data centers, but a lot of them do use PFAS in their cooling centers to cool down these like supercomputers. And also in some of the like the chips are manufactured to contain PFAS. So, and it's not well regulated. So it's hard to know where the PFAS is coming from and where it's getting into, what
Yeah.
water sources.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So did we cover? Okay. So what they are, what is the deal with being able to fight these and not have them built in your area?
Mhm.
When I looked it up, it was like, these billionaire, trillionaire entities like Amazon and Bill Gates, Microsoft, and, these billionaire entities are the ones doing this. And if, the Trump is allowing it, um, like how can how can we stop this?
Mhm. So big tech, these huge corporations, they want us to feel powerless and feel
Yeah,
like we can't stop this AI frenzy that's popping up everywhere.
yeah,
We're powerless against it. We might as well just accept it for what's happening.
yeah.
But that's really like not true at all. We have an immense amount of power at the local level to fight these data centers.
Okay.
Um, you can look up countless examples of communities
Mhm.
showing up to their local town government and opposing these data centers and winning. And so that's what it takes. It takes communities coming together,
Mhm.
targeting their town council and town planning board
Mhm.
to reject these applications for the data centers. So the data centers, they need to get town approval at the local level to be zoned properly, or they need to be, yeah. So they need to be zoned into towns in order to be approved.
Yeah.
And So we can have a big say in that process in
Okay.
whether or not these towns actually approve the data centers. And so by creating, getting a bunch of people out there, huge crowds of people filling up our town council board meetings and town planning board meetings, we can actually sway their opinion.
I want you to just go over what they are, what data centers
Mhm.
are, and what they do to the environment.
So data centers are essentially the brain of the internet. They are giant warehouses that house these supercomputers that power, the AI industry and a lot of computing services that we use. So data centers have existed for a while. The issue and the type of data center we're fighting are AI data centers, specifically AI hyperscale data centers, because the data centers to power AI use massive amounts of energy that are straining local energy grids, causing power blackouts and unstable electricity. Um, they're also using a huge amount of water. So there's predictions that, in 5, 10 years, data centers are going to be using like millions of gallons of water, of clean drinking
Um,
water,
to keep
that's
them cool.
to cool down these huge supercomputers, because when they're running inside these data center warehouses, they get really, really hot, and so they need to cool down. Water is the best way to cool these supercomputers down, and so they circulate water throughout the facility. And a lot of that water gets evaporated, so they constantly need to be
And they're
bringing in
using,
water. Yeah.
yeah, they're constantly needing water. They're
Mhm.
using drinking water supplies. Well,
Yes.
water,
So
cool
most
water,
they
clean water is drinking water.
yes, they need to use clean water. Otherwise there will be, it'll damage the equipment if the water contains any like bacteria or chemicals. So that's where they go to use drinking water supplies. And they are often built near reservoirs or bodies of water so they can pull water from that reservoir into their facility. Other impacts, there's, huge environmental impacts of building giant warehouses. They're propping up a lot of dangerous energy sources like coal, gas, oil, nuclear, in order to power the data centers. So a lot of places that have been trying to retire their old, like gas plants or nuclear or coal power plants, they're repowering them back on because they need to power these massive data centers.
I, I,
Um,
I, this is almost rendering me speechless. This is why, thanks to you and Food Water Watch, because I'm just like, I, what can I say that it just is so I feel so upset about it. Okay. Melissa, oh my God. I can't believe this is happening in 2026. And that, I talk about just nature gives us everything we need, with wind, with water, with sun, and to be doing this at this time in the world when the earth is suffering beyond, like beyond what we ever imagined, and so it's just so difficult to hear this and to know about this. Thank you so much, because the little I know causes me sleepless nights, to be honest with you, so I don't know how, with the amount of knowledge that you have, I don't know how you handle it. All right.
I will say on a positive note, it's been
Okay.
really incredible to see how much community backlash there has been against these data centers. People are really waking up to seeing
Yeah.
how destructive they are
Yes.
and organizing together. People that aren't usually wouldn't really get involved in activism for any other reason are being really energized on this issue. And
Yes.
so I think it's a wake-up call all across the country for people to really see the, interconnection between our our environment here at the local level and then like across the country, what we're all facing together with these destructive energy hogging data centers.
When you said the power still does lie within people, like to reject data centers being built, is that something like the people of individual towns have the power, or is that like New York State Governor Hochul in her hands? Like, is who has the real power
Mhm.
with it?
So it depends if there is an active application for a data center in your town, then usually at the town local level, they have the authority to deny or approve these power plants or these data centers. Sometimes it depends, on an individual case, but most of the time the town level has that authority and they are able to grant permits. But the DEC needs to um, the there's permits from the DEC, so the Department of Environmental Conservation, that these towns would authorize.
Yeah.
But Governor Hochul also has immense power to stop these data centers. She could just like do an executive order to stop new data center permitting from stop the Department of Environmental Conservation from giving new permits for these data centers. And
Um,
she can also um, pass a moratorium on the data centers, which is a big, push we're asking her to do. The state legislature passed a 1-year moratorium on data centers. And as soon as Hochul signs that bill, there will be a pause on new data center applications all across New York.
but you and I know that she is not of an innovative mind. She is not for protecting the environment and being innovative. And so, like, as many amazing people that are in food and water wash, I just wish so much someone would run against her. Like, there are such powerful, incredible people within the organization. What are we going to do when we have this person, the governor of New York, that is so, from a from another antiquated time, and her thinking is just, she backs nuclear power, which is the worst idea in the entire world. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible, toxic, harmful, one of the worst things that the planet is dealing with, really, right? And she's backing this. And I I just don't know how someone of that mind frame could could be in a position of power in New York,
Mhm.
where, I mean, we're like looked at from the entire world. And
Mhm.
I'm just so frustrated that
Yeah.
we don't have, you know, the people we need running here and in these power positions, the good people that are intelligent. Really, it's intelligence, because it's just a bad idea, nuclear power. It's not intelligent in any way. How much it costs, how much it destroys the planet. And I just like, what are we going to do? Can you?
Yes. It's no, I
I need
understand.
you to run. Please.
Um, maybe someone from
That
Food
would,
and Water Watch will run.
I hope so.
Um,
You know something, do you? Because honestly, you don't have to say, but I mean, that would be so amazing. I'm sure there's many people like us. There's many people that feel this way, you know?
mhm. We also, feel the exact same way. We feel
Yeah.
abandoned by Governor
Yes.
Hochul.
Yeah.
She's giving in to fossil fuel nuclear interests and the, big tech corporations at the expense of people.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost her. Eventually, she will, face enough pressure from either another challenger or public pressure where she'll either, lose her seat or she'll need to really make changes that are in line with what we want. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the next governor's race, but I think change is definitely needed and coming. So
I hope so.
yeah.
I hope so. Well, do you want to share about the nuclear plans for development for more nuclear power plants
Hmm.
here in New York?
Yeah. So over the past few years, Governor Hochul has been revising and developing a nuclear plan. She introduced a master plan that would build about 5 gigawatts of new nuclear in New York. And this
How many
is
plants is that?
so it would be about 4 or 5 nuclear plants, um, maybe more. And so this is a huge undertaking. Right now, New York has, I think, about 3 active nuclear plants right now. Um, they're upstate and they're struggling. They are extremely expensive to maintain. They cannot operate without massive ratepayer and taxpayer subsidies to um, fund the powering of these plants.
Yeah.
Um, and they're also, they're very old.
Mhm.
There's many problems
Mhm.
that aging nuclear plants can face. Despite this, Hochul wants to invest a huge amount of, taxpayer money into building new nuclear plants
Instead of going towards alternatives
instead of, yes.
that are sustainable, that don't harm the planet. I mean, look, I don't does she is she aware? Like, does she have an awareness of what she's doing? Of what this is gonna cost, of how harmful this is to the entire planet? I haven't asked you to go into the effects and the harmful effects of nuclear. I just want people to know all of it, all the nitty gritty and the details here of what
Mhm.
it is and why it's bad and why it's harmful.
Yeah, just to be brief, the impacts of nuclear, the cost is astronomical. It's the most expensive form of energy, way more expensive to build than renewable energy or geothermal, or any other form of energy, costs at, cost per kilowatt hour. It's way more expensive. It's also way more dangerous and much more risky.
Mhm.
Um, there have been, countless safety risks and accidents with nuclear power plants. And right now at the federal level, we do not have a functioning nuclear regulatory commission that actually that oversees these nuclear plants. Because it's just not really, under the Trump administration, but no one is actually monitoring and assessing the risks of these nuclear plants. And to build more at a time when we're not really evaluating the risks is extremely dangerous. Just to give an example, the Indian Point nuclear power plant, that's in Westchester County near Peekskill. It is operating, well, it's currently being decommissioned, but it's over a fracked gas pipeline. It's the only nuclear plant in a country that runs over a pipeline, which is absolutely, just compounding safety risks one on top of the other. Um,
So for me, when I think about it, I think about that movie I saw that we all saw. If you're, of my age group, the day after. So knowing how exposed and vulnerable having a nuclear power plant anywhere on the freaking planet, how dangerous and how vulnerable you are should any maniac, in a position of power, which seems to be pretty much everyone now, can just obliterate an area, maybe the planet. I don't even know. It's just, it's so insane to me. And then I think about the heat that they give off and generate that
Hmm.
like the data centers also need to be cooled. So we're in a time of global warming. And so you're adding all of this heat to to the planet that's utilizing its cool water, which naturally cools itself. It's okay. So these are things I think about. Then the pollutants that are, you know, the waste product of them. And then there's no place to put the waste on the entire planet. There's nothing you can do with the waste. So I'm just like very 101 here with my knowledge. That's all I really need to know. I mean,
Hmm.
you are extremely knowledgeable, but it's like just at the basic level of knowledge, it's a horrific idea that should have never been pursued to begin with. And I feel like, I would love to just educate people, children, younger people on what this is.
Hmm.
That's powering their video games, that's powering their devices, that's powering things and what the effects are, because I just would love this to be part of the educational system and taught in all fairness, transparency and just the awareness factor really.
Hmm. Absolutely. I completely agree. I think education is certainly needed. And that is what, we're planning to do some more educational sessions this summer on nuclear power. We had a, big statewide day of action yesterday where we talked about how dangerous Hochul's nuclear plant is and what's happening at Indian Point. And so that's, definitely on the tables. I think as more people learn about the risks, I think we can actually start to see the tide changing and public opinion changing for the better, and actually directing our rage towards the decision makers that can make better choices for our energy
Yeah,
options in the state.
yeah. I keep moving my feet because it's so bright. I have the sun coming in the window of
Hmm.
my eyes over here. Okay. So that's so good. That's so good that you're doing that. I tell you, your organization just like is really just like I'm just so grateful that you're out there, that you exist, that you're doing this, that it just like, restores my faith in humanity, to be honest with you. Um, and I'm so glad that you guys are doing this. And I'm happy to hear you say that you believe and you're confident changes will come about. We need it. We need it
Hmm.
in New York. You know, we need it everywhere in the world. But
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
well,
We, yeah. So, I mean, change will come with enough public pressure. You might remember from back in the fracking days, a big reason why we were able to get Governor Cuomo at the time to, support pass the ban on fracking was because there was like, and so much public pressure from every direction. People were showing up at public events, bird dogging, asking, pressuring, like shouting and pressuring him to do the right thing. And so that's what we can do, this time around with Governor Hochul is make sure that she can't walk around without being facing the brunt of the public and our outrage. She needs to hear what we want, the issues we care about, and be pressured to do the right thing.
Okay.
So that's what we're all about.
Amazing. So how do people get involved?
So to get involved with Food and Water Watch, if you're, local to the area, you can contact me. You can also head to our website and you'll find our volunteer actions, upcoming events, and you can sign up on our Mobilize page. You'll see it on our website and see what we're up to. We also have national, like federal campaigns we're working on in addition to our statewide initiatives. So there's several ways you can get involved. You can help us by showing up to rallies, events. You can help us with petitioning, gathering signatures. You can help us find where Governor Hochul is going to be at the next event so we can talk to her.
Yeah.
You can
Love
set
that.
up meetings with your like state elected officials. Yeah, there's countless ways and helping us reaching out more people to get involved to grow the movement.
I love it. I think I'm just so grateful for you guys. And yeah, I'm so grateful you came to join me today and share all this amazing information. You're beautiful, your smile, how you handle all this with that beautiful grace and your smile, Melissa, is incredible. It really is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's yeah, this, being able to connect with people and, feel that we're all on the same page on what's really important to us is very energizing, and it helps me stay motivated and helps us continue to power our work. So I appreciate your support and you saying such kind words.
Yeah, it's just at this point I feel like if you're here on this planet, you have a responsibility to know everything you can. It's like it's such a gift to be here. And I believe we are guests here. I don't know where we came from. Maybe we crash landed from space. I really don't know. But we are guests here amongst, the beauty, the nature, the animals. And it's just, I believe every single one of us has a responsibility to care for it. And this is the most beautiful planet I've ever been. Not that I've been to another one, but I think it is just a gorgeous place that I just want to protect with all my heart and soul. And, it's people like you that you don't know how to do it. How do you do it? So yeah, so thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and listening to Melissa Hoffman share her knowledge. Go to Food and Water Watch and support these wonderful people who are fighting for good. All right, girl. So I'll see you out there.
Yes.
See you out there.
Absolutely.
I'll be out there with you soon.
Great. Looking forward to it. And thanks for chatting with me.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Of course.
All right. Bye.
So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. It was great hanging out with you. For more information, go to my website, alyssasequoia.com. Peace out, friend.